my TBC, what's the deal? So let me give you another prospect, man, out of New Zealand. Well, he was born in Poland. He has Nigerian descent. His name is Izu Ugonoh, and this dude looks the part, man. 6'5", 84-inch reach. He's only 29 years old. Um, but he's hooked up with Kevin Barry, the trainer of Joseph Parker, and he has resumed his career in New Zealand. He turned pro in 2010. From 2010 to 2013, he fought all his fights in Poland. He was fighting at cruiserweight between 197 and 201. And then in 2014, he decided to make the jump to heavyweight. And he has put on significant weight. I've seen him weigh as high as 237. So we're talking 40, 35 to 40 pounds here. But man, he is hulked up. I mean, he looks like Anthony Joshua. This dude's hulked up. There's no fat on him at all. So what I wanted to do, man, because I was curious to see how he's fighting with all this, extra muscle and weight put on him. So I went and looked up some of his fights between 2010 and 2013. And in those fights, the Fatia Hana fight, I believe that's how you pronounce the guy's name. He stopped that guy. The guy quit on his stool, but in that fight, he was real quick. He looked like a different fighter. Even the fight against Patrick Berger, he looked just like a different fighter. Looked a little bit faster. He was giving up his height. He was crouching down, doing a lot of bobbing and weaving. Looked kind of anxious to me. But you can tell that Kevin Barry has done significant work with him because he's a lot calmer. Like in the Will Quarry fight, which he brutally knocked that dude out, man. That was a brutal knockout. Knocked him out through the ropes. The dude was knocked unconscious. He came out in that fight, and I was impressed with that win because Himi the heel went 4 rounds with Quarry, and Ogano was able to just steamroll him in the second round with that knockout. But Ogano was very patient. He was using his jab. He likes to work behind his jab. He has good footwork. He can pivot. He can parry with punches. When he goes back, he doesn't just go back like your usual 6'5", 6'6" guy. They stand straight up and they just walk back and they're susceptible to being held and clinched inside. He seems to have some good footwork going back. Seems to pump that jab out when he's in danger, which I like. And he has a powerful, powerful right hand. I've seen him fight Vicente Sandez. Sandez has been in there with Charles Martin and Edmund Gerber, and he was able to get Sandez out of there faster than both of those gentlemen. Martin, I believe, got him out of there in 3 rounds, and Gerber got him out in 2. He blew him out in 1 round. Jab and straight right hand combos, but he was very patient. He didn't come out wild and overly aggressive, and he looked very patient. So you can tell the work Kevin Barry's doing with him, man. And then most recent fight, Abraham LeBaron, watched that fight again. Patient, worked behind his jab. He scored 2 knockdowns, powerful right hand, finished him in the first round. But the fight that really intrigued me and I really wanted to watch was one of those fights that he went the distance, and that was with journeyman Julius Long. We all know Julius Long, big 7-footer, 280 to 300-pound guy. Been in there with Lucas Brown and Samuel Peter and Alexander Ustinov and Ali Harrison, a who's who. He's very difficult to deal with. He's been knocked out, but he's difficult to deal with, man. The dude has a 90-inch reach, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? So he is hard to deal with, especially for a prospect. Ogano was able to put him down to round 4 with a good right hand. His right hand is powerful. He just couldn't finish him. Long got up and he used all his savvy ring veteran tactics. Before the fight, it was really interesting because as they were doing the, as the ref had him going face to face and giving him the pre-fight instructions, Julius Long was taunting Ogano, was in his face and making faces at him and doing all this shit to him, but Ogano stayed focused. He is a college graduate. These, Nigerian descent heavyweight fighters can really make some noise sometimes. Ikabe Abuche was one. He's actually came back. Samuel Peter. I believe Joshua Parker has Nigerian descent, if I'm not mistaken. But something about these Nigerian heavyweights, man, they pack a lot of damn power. I like Ogano. He's 15-0 with 12 KOs. He did show me he has a chin in that long fight. He showed me he won't get frustrated. He will stay behind his jab. He will listen to his corner. I like what I see, man. He's with Kevin Barry, so he's in camp with Joseph Parker. He spars with him. He was just in the last Klitschko camp. He's an ex-pro kickboxer. So athletic, But just looking at the transformation of his body, though, I just wonder how he did all this. I'm not throwing any allegations out there, but he's 197 pounds. He looked kind of like a you know, Steve Cunningham, and then now he looks like Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? But he got to give him credit for getting his body in good shape, man, and adding that weight the right way, and it's not doesn't seem to hamper him at all. You know, he doesn't seem as fast as he used to be. You can't really expect the guy to be as fast as he was 40 pounds ago, whether it's muscle or fat that's being put on. But he seems more patient. And in the heavyweight division, you need your patience, man. You need to work behind a big jab. You know what I mean? Kind of like how Lennox was. Before Lennox joined Emmanuel Stewart, he was a fast starter, really fast, come out the blocks real fast, and it would work for him. But when he got with Emmanuel, he, slowed down a little bit, worked behind that big jab. You know what I mean? And that's why I think a lot of these heavyweights, especially when you're 6'5", you got to have a jab, man. You got to have a jab. Even if you like to fight from close quarters, you got to have a jab so you can jab your way in, because you're not always going to be the biggest guy in the ring every time you step in there. And that was evident. Ugonoh going in there with Julius Long, and I like how he handled himself as the smaller man. Watched about 7 of his 15 fights, like what I see. Good prospect. I was looking at some of the titles he holds, and he holds the interim WBA Oceania Heavyweight Championship, and then he holds the interim WBO African Heavyweight Championship. And the regular holder of both of those titles are Joseph Parker, and I don't see these guys fighting. They're stable mates. They train together, spar together. I don't see them fighting. But I like to see Ugonoh, if Joseph Parker doesn't choose to fight Himi Ahio, if he stays undefeated and Nagano stays undefeated, I like to see them fight. I think that'd be a good explosive fight. But Nagano definitely has a good right hand. He looks the part. He's working with Parker, so they're helping each other. I like what I see as a prospect. He's a big, strong guy, man, and he's fast, chin, smart. Now it's just up to how he looks when he gets in there with somebody of note. But again, I like to see him, even if it's a European level journeyman or American level journeyman, like to see him in there with some more of those guys. That was, is Julius Long a journeyman? But I like to see him in there with some more guys and see what he can do, man. But I like what I see as a prospect. I really like what I see, man. He definitely looks the part too. Izu Ugonoh, 15-0 with 12 knockouts. YTBC. I'm out.